At my mother's birthday, everything appeared normal. Then my 10-year-old called me on the phone. Get out now. What happened? I asked. Her voice shook. Get out of the house. I obeyed. It was the last time I set foot in my parents' home. 3 months later, they begged for my forgiveness. It was simply an ordinary birthday with pastels and paper napkins. My mother had cooked the fruit tart she always makes when she wants to appear effortless but still great. My father was repeating one of his go-to stories about how difficult life used to be. My sister Sophia had brought balloons and pretended she hadn't spent the morning yelling at her children. In other words, everything seemed regular, the kind of normal you don't notice when you live in it. Same smells, voices, and rhythms with a few laughs and complaints. My daughter Lily had gone off somewhere to play or read. There were cupcakes, cheap wine, background music, no drama, no shouting, and no tension I could sense in the air. I was not even thinking. I was simply existing in it, floating through it, keeping my head down and my mouth quiet like I had trained myself to do. Keep it light. Avoid bringing up difficult topics. Smile as if you are not tired. Play along. Looking back, I want to shake myself. How come I didn't feel it? How could I not detect something was wrong? But I did not. If anything, I felt things were improving and that we'd all found some peace. I even found myself smiling once or twice. Then my phone rang. I retrieved it from my pocket and blinked at the screen. My daughter is calling. This was bizarre. She generally just came to me when she needed something. I looked around. I didn't see her. Perhaps she was upstairs or in the backyard. Hello, what's up? Her speech struck me like a punch. Get out now! I stopped moving. The room did not pause, but I did as if the air had altered. What happened? I asked. Please get out of the house right now. Her voice shook. She was whispering. She sounded afraid. I stood up gently. My mind was blank and then loud. What's happening? Did someone injure her? Did she fall? Was anyone in the house? I didn't ask anything else. Just walked out the front door. Not a word to anyone. Not even a glance at the snack table or my mother's cheerful smile. Not a check for my sneakers. I just moved as if my body had taken control, as if I were outside of it watching myself walk. When I stepped outside, the air was still warm. The garden smelled of cut grass and cheap perfume. And there she was standing by the driveway, knapsack over one shoulder, her gaze fixed on me. She was not crying. She wasn't moving either. My heart halted for a second. Actually ceased. Then everything caught up. I hurried over. What's on? What happened? Can we go? She replied, I don't want to talk here. Just get into the automobile. I stared at her hands, her face, and the way she grasped her bag's straps. She was not hurt, yet she appeared hollow. Did someone yell at you? I asked. Did anyone mention anything? No, she replied. Not precisely. Just let's go. I nodded. My voice did not work. I simply turned, opened the car, and got inside. We drove away silently. Not fast and not dramatic. Just left. Nobody saw us go, or if they did, nobody stopped us. She looked out the window. I maintained my hands firmly on the wheel. My mind was trying to fill in blanks that I didn't have. Did she hear anything? Did someone injure her? Did someone threaten her? Was it one of the other children? Was it my mother? My father? Everything was possible. Each concept was worse than the last. I wanted to inquire more. I did not. We stopped into a parking spot near an old garden shop a few blocks away. It was closed. Quiet. I switched the engine off, just sitting there. Okay, I said finally gently. We are alone. You can tell me what happened now. She didn't respond. I gazed at her. Her hands rested in her lap. She was still looking straight ahead. After a time, she stated, I don't want to go back. Not to Grandma. Not to Grandpa. Not at that house. Not ever again. I felt like my breath had been knocked out of me. Her voice was neither aggressive nor theatrical. It was flat, to be honest. The way you say something after you've already made up your mind and thought about it for hours before speaking it out. I don't understand, I answered softly. I assumed everything was good. What happened? She simply shook her head. Please, don't make me go back. I sat there staring at the steering wheel, trying to make my brain catch up connecting the dots even though I hadn't seen the board. Finally, I said, I will not take you back there. And that was all. She did not explain. I did not push. We just sat silently. I wondered how I had missed whatever she had seen. She was quietly attempting to hold herself together in the passenger seat. I kept repeating the day in my head. Every look, every comment, every wasted opportunity, and I had none. That's what terrified me the most. I didn't see it coming. I lived at the home. I knew these individuals. I thought I knew. And she'd witnessed something that made her want to flee. And I'd never forget how she sounded over the phone, as if her life relied on getting away. Mine did as well. But before all of that, there was a life that brought us here. I was the older of the two girls. You'd imagine that comes with authority, leadership, and possibly a little bias. Not in my family. In my household, being the eldest meant being the guinea pig. So let's see what happens if we do this youngster. When I turned 15 and landed a job at the neighborhood bakery, my parents clapped as if I'd been knighted. Not because they were proud, because I could now help pay the expenses. We all contribute in this house, my mother responded, ignoring my complaints when I asked to purchase myself a pair of jeans. By the age of 16, I was handing up half my income and working weekend shifts that no one had asked me to do. I convinced myself it was noble, family-oriented, and possibly even mature. Then my sister reached the same age. No employment, no pressure, and no mention of giving. She got to sleep in and go to the shopping with her buddies while I was elbow-deep in dish soap and working overtime. I gently asked my mother why that was. She's simply not made the same way as you, she explained, as if I were a factory model and my sister a porcelain doll. So I swallowed it. I did not want to be petty. I didn't want to cause issues. Besides, I was doing fine. I had plans. I had a future, or so I assumed. I married young, possibly too young, but I believed I was happy. My spouse Marcus was charming in that low-key, passive way that makes you think he's easygoing. He was not. I worked a lot. I had a good job, better than good. Long hours, a good compensation, and a strong reputation. Marcus worked part-time because he wanted to spend more time with Lily, and I was better at job stuff anyhow. And at the time, it worked for me. I did not question it. I had no idea how quickly unbalance might start to feel normal. Then things changed gradually at first. He became irritable, reclusive, and snapped more frequently. His presence began to feel like walking on broken glass. Nothing had broken yet, but you could feel it in your footsteps. It bled over not just with myself, but also with our kid. Not striking or bruising, but shouting, slamming long silences and threats whispered just low enough to be denied. The bottle proved to be the final straw. He tossed it across the room. I did not hit anyone. He claims he didn't mean to, but our daughter was in the hallway when it smashed. She flinched so fiercely that she dropped the mug in her hands, and something inside me shattered. I couldn't wait to see what happened next. I packed a bag, took my daughter, and walked out. I returned to the one location I never imagined I would need again, home. Except, it wasn't truly home anymore. My parents technically took us in, but it was evident from the start that there would be a consequence. I gave up my job when I moved back. I couldn't keep up that routine as a single mother, not with court appearances, trauma therapy school pickups, and a child who began flinching at startling noises. Part-time employment opportunities are rare in my industry. I settled for something flexible but humiliatingly underpaid. Enough to survive, but not enough to live, and certainly not enough to support others. Which was an issue, because for years I had been the golden goose. When I was still working, I sent money to my parents every month, paid significant bills, and took care of small ones without masking. I even paid for their all-inclusive trip in Portugal 2 summers ago. They still talk about it as if it were the pinnacle of their lives. So when the checks stopped coming in their way, of life changed. Quiet but noticeable. They were not pleased, not openly, but in the smallest details. My mom sighed as she looked at the food bill. The way my father brought up the water bill twice a week. They unexpectedly neglected to add me to the family group chat. The house was full. My sister and her husband also lived there with their 2 kids who had the energy of caffeinated raccoons and no volume control. They lived there almost rent-free. My parents adored, watched, babysat, and boasted about them. So I reasoned that if she could stay here with her circus, then I could as well. But something didn't feel right. I observed the shift from day one. My daughter's drawings stayed on the fridge for less than a day. Her dish was cleared before she had finished. She once got chastised for talking too much when all she had done was laugh at a cartoon. There were stares, not from everyone, but sufficient. She also observed it. Of course she did. She stopped spending time downstairs. She gripped to me tighter. She wondered if we could have our own apartment shortly, and I promised her we would. That this was only transitory. That family was intended to aid. I truly believed that till the day she called and instructed me to leave the house. We sat in our car, which was parked under a sad little tree in a lonely lot. My hands were on the wheel, but I wasn't moving. I finally spoke. "Can you explain what happened?" She did not hesitate. Not this time. "Grandma, Grandpa, and Aunt do not want me there." She stated they were talking. I was in the bathroom. They didn't realize I could hear. I looked ahead. Let her speak. "They said they'd send me back to Daddy. That I would be better off. That they are plotting something." She spoke it as if it were simply information. "Weather. Nothing personal." "I don't want to go," she said, still looking out the window. "I don't want to be around him." I did not say anything. She had overheard a plan to return her to the man I had took her away from, and I had not seen anything. When I was a youngster, I imagined betrayal to be louder, like someone yelling surprise with a knife in hand. It turns out it was quieter. It sometimes hid behind bathroom tiles and whispered through thin walls. Sometimes it was whispered by those who raised you. I gazed at her. They said what she did not blink. "They intend to make you lose me." They were discussing in the kitchen. I was in the bathroom. "They did not know. I waited and braced. They told you would lose custody, whatever. That they could make it happen sooner. That Papa would take better care of me, and if I went back to him, you'd return to your old work and start assisting them again." I opened my mouth and nothing came out. "They suggested you'd be better off." She paused. "They stated they may plant something in your belongings. Perhaps drugs are involved, making the situation appear awful. Then call child services." Silence. "They want to frame me." She simply nodded. Her lips were squeezed so tightly together that they had become white. "And are you sure they said it, Mother?" "They've said it all. That I am too much." I never stopped talking. "The house is filled and it used to be so lovely. They stated you were no longer useful and he was always the superior father." I felt a shift. Not snap, not shatter. Simply change. She said so I packed all I could. "There are two. I left. I phoned you." I glanced down at her small backpack in the footwell. She had thought to fetch my charger. I almost lost it right then. Instead, I cranked the ignition and drove. I did not go back. Not for clothes answers or my toothbrush. I drove directly to Ethan's residence. Ethan and I had been buddies since we were 10. Never dated and never tried. Just one of those elusive human unicorns. A platonic male best buddy who shows up, remains silent, and always carries extra toothpaste. He opened the door, holding a coffee and wearing one sock. I said, "I need to crash here." He looked at me, then at my kid, and walked away without asking any questions. This is why he is still in my life. That night we slept on his sofa. Lily cuddled up alongside me, unusually quiet for a child. I stared at the ceiling, counting ceiling fan spins while trying not to scream. My phone vibrated 17 times. I did not check it once. The following morning, I attempted to be normal. I combed my hair, found socks that almost matched, prepared my daughter's lunch, and added a napkin with a sloppy drawing of a cat. I kissed her cheek and murmured, "You are brave." She nodded. No smile, just pure bravery. We walked to school and they were present. Of course they were. My parents were standing at the gate like the mafia, only with tote bags and that false, nice strain that people wear when they're going to say something terrible. My daughter froze. "It's okay," I said. "Go in, I have this." She ran away. I confronted the adversary. My mom snapped, "Where have you been?" "No good morning, no embrace, and no apologies." "I believe you already know," I said. "We've been calling all night," my father added. "You disappeared alongside her." "I didn't disappear," I explained. I removed my daughter from an environment where people were plotting to end my life. My mother blinked. "Excuse me." I did not flinch. "She overheard you in the kitchen discussing your little custody sabotage plan." "That's ludicrous," she exclaimed hastily. "She must have misinterpreted. Did she misread the part where you said you were going to put drugs on me?" Her mouth opened and closed. A flush spread up her neck. "We were discussing hypotheticals," she murmured. "You have been stressed. You've resigned your work. The custody battle is going nowhere." "You've tried." I cut in. "I've been trying while you've been busy scheming my downfall because your spa vacation has ended." "That's not fair," my father said. "We've helped you." I laughed. Actually laughed. "You sheltered me after I had paid your expenses for years. After I booked you for a week in Crete and purchased your damn espresso machine." My mother's eyes narrowed. "Is this about money now?" "This is about loyalty," I explained, "which you sold for a better chance at vacation." "We merely wanted what was best for her," my father explained. "You fight all the time." He was always very pleasant with her. He hurled a bottle at the wall while she was in the room, and I snapped. "He was not a father. You were aware that he posed a threat." My mother folded her arms. "You are emotional. You are blowing this out of—" "I'm finished," I said. "I'm finished letting you twist this. You tried to sabotage my custody case. You attempted to delete my role as a mother in order to return to your previous level of comfort." There was quiet. I gazed between them. "Do you want comfort? You will have it. Start now. You will never hear from me again. Not one penny. Not a visit. Not another ounce of me." "Don't be dramatic," my father said. I turned. "You have not witnessed anything dramatic." I walked away. That night, Ethan discovered me in his kitchen arms wrapped around a mug of tea that I hadn't touched. "You okay?" he inquired gently. "No," I replied, "but at least I understand where I stand." My daughter emerged in her jammies holding the terrible cat doodle napkin. She didn't say anything, just sat beside me and rested her head on my arm. I didn't cry because I wasn't devastated, but because I was too tired to. I had lost my parents. Or perhaps I finally recognized they were never truly mine to lose. What I hadn't lost was sitting next to me, and I'd burn the entire damn world down before someone took her away again. You'd think after everything that had happened, I'd have learned to relax when things calmed down, but I did not. Silence, I discovered, is simply betrayal taking a breath. It had been weeks since we had heard from my parents. There were no messages, threats, or crazy cousins checking in on us. Only quietness. Ethan declared peace. I called it suspicious. Lily was doing well. Slowly. Sleeping again. Eating again. She'd started painting bizarre little comic strips about wolves fighting snakes. And I didn't raise any questions because they were all resolved with the wolf winning and cuddling up in a den with her youngster. That was good enough for me. I was still staying at Ethan's, which meant I had a lease set up but hadn't signed it yet. I did not. I had nothing set up. And Ethan, bless him, had never suggested that we were overstaying. He made Lily pancakes and coffee for me, saying things like, "You can stay as long as you want." And I began to believe him. Then came the job offer. It was flexible, paid well, and I wouldn't have to sell my soul or miss seeing my child just to afford cheese again. I did not cry when I received it, but I did lock myself in the bathroom and laugh till I coughed. That employment represented my first taste of the old life. The good part clawing its way back. Of course, that's when I noticed the images. I was not even snooping. I visited Instagram to see if Lily's school had shared any information about the art display. And there they were, my parents on the beach with Marcus. Marcus tanned and smiled like he knew the judge well. Sophia was also there looking smug as a wet cat carrying a coconut drink as if it were court-admissible evidence. The caption stated, "Family first. I'm so pleased of the kind of father he is to our granddaughter." I did not drop my phone. I just stared at it before turning the screen to Ethan and said, "That explains why they've been quiet. They are tanning their betrayal." He did not say anything for a while. Then he gave me a cookie. That is why I love him. 2 days later, Child Protective Services arrived. They knocked at 9 a.m. on Thursday. I opened the door halfway clothed. Lily was brushing her teeth while Ethan was somewhere in the rear attempting to repair the leaky faucet with the world's smallest wrench. We got a report, the woman stated, clipboard in hand, her colleague standing slightly behind her, examining the corridor as if we were hiding drugs in a potted plant. I didn't need to ask who had reported me, but I did anyway. "It was your parents," she explained. "Of course it was. They accused me of running away with Lily being unstable, not having a permanent home, and engaging strange males in my daughter's care, which I assumed was Ethan, who was currently in the kitchen pouring juice into a unicorn horn-shaped cup. They checked the bedrooms, asked Lily a few questions, and examined the fridge but discovered nothing. They said we'd hear back only if more action was required. I thanked them with all the emotional warmth of a sandwich bag. Then I went to the restroom and vomited. The following day, I sat across from my lawyer who nibbled at a salad and murmured stuff like, "This is serious, Amelia." No kidding, I mumbled. He stated that if my parents testified for Marcus in the custody case, which was just days away, it would be painful. A lot. They're close family, he explained. They are very familiar with you. If they paint an image of instability, it will carry weight. I looked to my lawyer, who once wore a flamingo-themed tie to mediation, and asked, "Do you think I'll lose her?" He sighed, not knowing if she would speak. That night, Lily asked me if she would have to testify in court. I agreed if she wanted to stay with me. She did not even blink. She simply answered, "Good," and returned to sketching her wolf comic. This one had snakes wearing granny wigs. The courtroom smelled like air freshener and falsehoods. Marcus arrived in a suit that was so stiff it appeared to be wearing him. My parents entered after him, sitting behind his chair as if they belonged to him now. Sophia did not even look my way. Lily sat next to me, swinging her legs uncomfortably. Ethan gave me a half smile and sat in the back, casting a constant shadow. The first day was awful. My parents testified, saying I was irritable and emotionally unstable. My mother stated I had always been very sensitive. My father nodded as if he were being interviewed for a documentary titled, "How to Destroy Your Daughter in Court." Sophia echoed them. Marcus was an excellent parent, she said. He stayed home. He cared about Lily. He was always patient. I wanted to rise up and scream. So why the heck did I leave him, but I did not? I sat there, nails cutting into my hand as they detailed a version of myself that I didn't recognize. Finally, Lily had her time. She took the stand as if it were a school presentation, looking at the judge rather than her father. "I want to live with my mother," she remarked. "She listens to me. She makes me feel safe. She has never yelled at me." They inquired about Marcus. She paused. "Then he becomes angry. He tosses things." "He flung the bottle once. It terrified me." Silence. "And then," she stated, "I don't want to live with him. I do not feel safe." They inquired whether anyone else had ever made her uncomfortable. My grandmother and aunt stated they wanted me to live with him, that they were going to cause Mommy to lose me. They claimed they'd put items in her bag to get her in trouble. There is no more sound. I was not crying. I could not cry. I felt as if I had been plunged into a vacuum, and it should have been sufficient, but the universe was not finished. During the break, Marcus approached my mom. They were arguing. I couldn't hear the words, but I noticed the motion. His hand grabbed her wrist, hard, sharp. She yanks it back. My dad stepped in. Marcus stormed away, and they never stood near him again. They didn't return to court. My lawyer then informed me that they had withdrew their testimony and that we'd had enough. We returned to court. My lawyer caused the fire. He outlined the money trail, the car, the vacation. Marcus had not declared his hidden assets during our divorce. It was all there. Receipts, transactions, he had bought their devotion. And when the money ran out, so did they. The judge ruled in my favor. I was granted full custody. There is no visitation, no contact. Marcus exited the courtroom red-faced and sweaty. My parents did not show up. Their vacation images were removed off social media a week after the judgment. The automobile was gone. The glow faded. Ethan showed me a screenshot of one of my mother's posts before it was erased. Sometimes the most difficult lesson is learned through family. I laughed. Actually laughed. Move forward a year. I still wake up occasionally, half anticipating a war. But then I glance over to see Ethan dozing into a cushion and Lily cuddled up on the opposite side with her wolf plushie. And I remember we're fine now. I'm still surprised that Ethan and I ended up together. For a long time, I didn't view him that way. I'd known him since we were youngsters when he ate crayons and promised to be a firefighter before becoming a scientist. I believe I had filed him under permanent friend stuff and just left him there. It turned out that he had liked me for years. He admitted to me one night over burnt toast and dishwater wine that he never said anything because he didn't want to damage what we had. But then, something changed. Perhaps it was the way he held Lily's hand in court, or the fact that he never attempted to fix me instead, standing with me as I unwound and rebuilt myself. Perhaps it was just timing. Perhaps it was everything. All I know is that one night he kissed me, and I kissed him back, and the world seemed to make more sense. He's been wonderful to me in ways I never imagined imaginable. Lily adores him. He makes cardboard castles with her, accepts her wolf theories as gospel, and allows her to win Mario Kart only half of the time. She told him the other day, "I'm glad you're a member of our pack." He cried in the hallway and denied it, but I witnessed it. My parents made one attempt to reconcile. They arrived at the door one Saturday morning with pancakes, genuine pancakes, as if the fragrance of betrayal came with syrup. They stated they didn't know what Marcus was really like and that maybe we could get over it all. I didn't even get to respond. Ethan moved into the hallway, looked them dead in the eyes, and said, "You must leave now." Lily peeked out and nodded as backup. They left. I have not heard from them since. I have heard through the grapevine that things have not been easy for them. They are hurting financially. Some people, including extended relatives and longtime acquaintances, severed links after discovering what they attempted to do. Apparently, trying to frame your daughter in order to recoup a free babysitter and vacation cash does not go down well at Bridge Club. Me, I am doing okay. Actually, it's better than okay. I have a steady career that I enjoy, a daughter who laughs in her sleep, and a partner who makes me feel protected in ways I did not realize I needed. It's not fancy or perfect, but it's mine, and I will fight like hell to keep it. Have I gone too far or not far enough? Please let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, please subscribe.